Kind of the headline differences are if you're in just cruise control, you're going to be in control of the steering wheel. You need to be paying the most attention and getting yourself to where you're going. Whereas if you're in auto steer or autopilot, the car will be in control of the steering wheel to keep you in one lane, but you're also going to need to make stops and be in control to get yourself from point A to point B. And then if you're paying for FSD, full self-driving, the goal of the vehicle is to get you from where you currently are to your destination and anything that is required in between those two places. So the speed, turning, changing lanes, stopping, anything that's required, it's trying to get you to your destination. You still need to pay attention though and take over if it is required. But FSD obviously has the most features and the most functions in terms of its capabilities. I want to go over the different autopilot features that you have in your Tesla vehicle. So to get to this menu, we can click on the little icon of the car in the bottom left-hand corner, then click on the autopilot option so that we can get this menu. And there's different autopilot features here at the top. So I'm going to start with the most basic and then work our way down the line. So I'm selected on traffic aware cruise control. Each one of these options has additional things that you can adjust based on how you want it to function. So for traffic aware cruise control, for the set speed, for instance, I have it set on current speed. That means when I turn it on, it's just going to set it to the current speed that I'm going. You could also do the speed limit option. So when you turn on traffic aware cruise control, it's just going to go the speed limit of the road that you're on. And additionally, you can set this as a fixed amount or a percentage difference than the speed limit. So let's say you always wanted it to set to 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, then you could set it at fixed plus 5 miles per hour. Starting off with traffic aware cruise control, to activate it, it's going to be one pull down on the right stalk if you have stalks. If you don't have stalks in your Tesla vehicle, it's going to be one press in on your right scroll wheel. I have it set to go my current speed, so I was going 60 when I had it set, so that means it's going to go 60. If you have it set to go the speed limit, it would have gone 55 miles an hour in this instance, or you can have it offset from the speed limit. So if you had speed limit plus 5, then it would have set it at 60 miles per hour as well. The most important thing to note with traffic aware cruise control is you are in total control of the steering wheel. Wherever you steer the steering wheel, the car will go. You need to make turns, you need to stop at stoplights, you need to stop at stop signs. Now, if there's a vehicle in front of you in the same lane that you're driving in, the car will adapt to the speed that they're going. So if they're going slower than you, your car will slow down as you follow them. And if there is a stoplight or a stop sign that the vehicle right in front of you stops at, your car will also stop behind that vehicle as well. It's called a lead vehicle, and your car will just adjust to the speed that they're going. If you'd like to increase the follow distance of the lead vehicle that is in front of you in your lane, we can click our right scroll wheel over to the left, and the largest follow distance we can set is 7, and the smallest amount is 2. Personally, I like it have it set on 2. Showing you an example of how this works, I'm coming up behind this semi that's going a little bit slower than me, so with adaptive cruise control, it will start to slow down behind this lead vehicle. See, the speed limit is starting to reduce. We can adjust our set speed with traffic aware cruise control. We can increase it by doing the scroll wheel up. You can see it went from 60 to 65, or to reduce it, we can put the scroll wheel down and adjust it to whatever speed that we'd like to go. To turn off cruise control, it's really simple. You can do a press up on the right stalk. If you're using stocks, if you don't have a stock, it's one press in on the right scroll wheel. You can also tap on the brake to turn it off. So next up on the list, I want to go over auto steer, also known as autopilot, and you can only change these modes when you're parked and stopped. You can't change these while you're driving. And the main differences is with autopilot, what you need is to have this little gray steering wheel show up before you can turn it on. Whereas with traffic aware cruise control, you can turn it on whenever you want. But once you have this little gray steering wheel right here, we can do a double pull on our right stalk if we have it set to a double pull. If you have it set to a single pull, obviously it's just one. And then if you don't have stocks, it's going to be a double click on the right scroll wheel or a single click depending on how you have it set. The nice thing about having it set to a double is that if you do just a single, it'll put you into traffic aware cruise control, so you can have either option, which is kind of nice. The main difference between autopilot and cruise control is with autopilot, you're going to get these blue lines that show up on the screen, and the car will be in control of the steering wheel, taking you down the lane that you are in. Other than that, there's a lot of similarities between autopilot and traffic aware cruise control, such as the follow distance behind the vehicle in front of you, the lead vehicle, how you set the speed. One other thing I'd like to mention is in auto steer, you can't set the speed limit more than 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. At least that's how it's set up currently. Probably my least favorite thing about autopilot in general. In my autopilot settings, I do have the option of traffic light and stop sign control, and that's because I have full self-driving. So if you don't have full self-driving, you can't turn this option on. I just stopped at a stop sign with no lead car in front of me in Autopilot, and I was only able to do this because I had this toggled on. Another thing you can turn on in the menu is navigate on Autopilot. This is another thing that you have if you have a full self-driving subscription, you're paying for it, you'll get this option available to you. And essentially when you're on the highway, it'll pass slower vehicles and make lane changes and get you to your exit. But this is a highway specific feature. It's not going to do this on just regular city roads. And to disengage Autopilot, other than just tapping on the brake or pushing up on the right stalk, you can also disengage it by taking control of the steering wheel. When you move the steering wheel a certain amount, it will disengage Autopilot. And then the last mode I want to touch on is full self-driving. If you're paying for the subscription or if you've paid the full amount for FSD, you should have the FSD option here at the end of the line. And again, you can only change it over to this mode when you're stopped and not moving. You're not going to be able to change these when you're driving. So last but not least, moving over to FSD, full self-driving, we can turn this on when we get this gray steering wheel, just like in auto steer. You need to have that little icon showing before you engage it. And if we have stocks, it's going to be one pull down on our right stalk. If you don't have stocks, it's going to be a click in on the right scroll wheel. So the main difference between FSD and the other modes is its goal is to get you from where you are to where you're going. That includes lane changes, turns, stopping at stoplights, stop signs, merging onto the highway, doing roundabouts. So I'm going to set a navigation destination so that the vehicle knows where it wants to get me to. Navigate to Speedway gas station. So then I can select where I want to navigate to and navigate there. So my car is going to take me from where I currently am to that destination. Just like auto steer, when you're in FSD, even though the car is in control of the steering wheel, you still need to be paying attention to what's happening around you, and you can take over control of the vehicle if needed. It's also going to set your speed in the same way, whether you want it to go your current speed when you set it, adapt based on the speed limit sign. You can adjust your speed with the right scroll wheel. If you go up, it'll increase speed, and down will decrease your speed. And an additional option in FSD that the other options don't have, if we open up the Autopilot menu here, in our FSD option, for full self-driving, they don't have a follow distance of between 2 to 7. You can just have a driver profile, whether you want it assertive, average, or chill. Assertive means you're going to be following closer to vehicles. Chill means further away. We have automatic speed offset. If you turn this on, essentially you're not going to be in control of the speed that the car is going. It's going to take into account how fast vehicles are traveling around you, the mode that you have set the vehicle in, the current speed limit. It'll take all of this into account and set your speed based on these factors. For me personally, I like having this off and being a little bit more in control of the speed myself, but if you just want a hands-off approach, you can do that auto speed setting. To disengage FSD, it's just like Autopilot. You can do a push up on the right stalk. If you have stocks, if you don't, you can do a press in on the right scroll wheel. You can tap on the brake pedal, or you can take over the steering wheel and it will disengage us that way as well. That's going to be bringing us towards the end of this video. I hope I was able to effectively and quickly describe the differences between the different driving modes in your Tesla vehicle. Kind of the headline differences are, if you're in just cruise control, you're going to be in control of the steering wheel. You need to be paying the most attention and getting yourself to where you're going. Whereas if you're in auto steer or autopilot, the car will be in control of the steering wheel to keep you in one lane, but you're also going to need to make stops and be in control to get yourself from point A to point B. And then if you're paying for FSD, full self-driving, the goal of the vehicle is to get you from where you currently are to your destination, and anything that is required in between those two places. So the speed, turning, changing lanes, stopping, anything that's required, it's trying to get you to your destination. You still need to pay attention though and take over if it is required. But FSD obviously has the most features and the most functions in terms of its capabilities. So that'll wrap this one up. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you back here next time.